Our reading this week continues in the book of Isaiah as we read chapters 15 through 19, one chapter for each day of the week. The Salt Shaker devotions include a thought and a prayer for each day concerning the chapter assigned. This week they are written by Bart and Matt. Be sure to read them and enjoy them. They are so helpful when our biblical text is more difficult to understand. I am reminding you that chapters 13 through 23 are about the judgment on other nations. Plus, for review, an oracle is a message from God to a prophet, then shared with people for who it concerned. As we begin this week in chapter 15, the oracle concerns Moab, which was a country east of the Dead Sea. I have posted a map of countries before Tuesday's devotion. Please use it to locate the various ones discussed. Moabites were descendants of Lot through his incestuous relationship with his older daughter. It was a proud nation that would not honor the Lord of Israel, but trusted in his fortifications. Everything failed them. They sought their own idols and their own gods. Chapter 17 writes of the oracle of Damascus. God's message to this country is that it will be completely destroyed. Here again, they trusted their own idols and not the true God. If we do not want the same kind of treatment that Damascus received, we must turn from these false allurements that we have and trust in God completely. You will read about Cush in chapter 18. It is traditionally considered the ancestor of the land of Cush, an ancient territory believed to have been located near the Red Sea, ancient Sudan. The people sent ambassadors to Israel, hoping to form a strong alliance against Assyria. But the venture was doomed to fail. God was not in it, because all of man's clever ideas are worthless if they run contrary to the will of God. Isaiah 19 explains the burden against Egypt. The first of chapter 19 opens as our God strikes Egypt with civil war, and then the drying up of the Nile, thus wrecking their economy. As the chapter continues in verses 11 through 15, he sends them foolish counsel that causes fear among the land. However, as the chapter ends, God saves Egypt when they turn to him. There is an amazing peace between three formerly hostile enemies: Egypt, Israel, and Assyria. The oracles have continued. Isaiah continues to prophesy. In each of them, we see how the people must turn from these false allurements and trust in God. Our God does not try to attract the greatest number of people, but instead, he seeks the greatest good for all people. Next week, we will continue to read in the book of Isaiah. Please join us, because Biblical Shakers makes reading the Bible more enjoyable for you, and I pray the Lord will put a hunger on your heart.